Hi, good afternoon. So, how is the quiz? Super easy, right? You get all 100. Not yet. A few still taking the quiz. So, we just wait. Yeah, okay. Except one, all get 100. So, okay. I think if you're not studying, you will get negative, not just zero. Okay. So, and I have announced this quiz last week, right? I don't know why. Okay, anyway, so uh, let's continue the lecture. We're still in the introduction of computer science. Okay, right. So, what's last meeting we have discussed about the big O notation, right? Analysis of algorithm. We also practice a lot, and that's why majority of you get 100. Okay, so in the quiz. Right. So today discuss about two things: data information knowledge, and then about AI. Okay, this is the introduction to computer science. So based on this website, you can check the system thinking org. Okay. Uh, these are the Russell Arkoff said five things. Data is basically raw symbol. So what's the difference between data and information? So when data has been given meaning, okay, how do you give meaning? You give a connection, okay, relational connection about who, what, where, and when, right? Then that data become information. Okay, so if you get data from the internet, that is just raw symbol, nothing. But once you put that data to have certain meaning, okay, how do you get the meaning? Again, to give relational connection. Okay. Uh, Next is you can increase the level of that information into knowledge. Okay, how do you make the information into knowledge? You add the connection to answer how. Okay, so information is talking about who, what, where, when. Right? But when you already answer how, that become knowledge. Okay. Now going to higher level, this is called understanding. Okay. So in this case, you supposed to answer why question. Okay. So interpolative and probabilistic process to synthesize the new knowledge from the previously held knowledge. So understanding is higher level than knowledge. Okay. And at the highest level, this is called wisdom. So wisdom is basically prediction, yeah? Extrapolative and non-deterministic, non-probabilistic process to evaluate the understanding. So this is what make the moral, the ethics, and our consciousness as human being. Okay, so we start from data, okay, and you add understanding relationship, you get the information, and going up, yeah, by understanding the pattern, you get the knowledge, and finally, by understanding the principle, you get the wisdom. Okay. So the same thing here, you can also view it different way, okay, as a pyramid. Okay. So each step up of the pyramid will answer question about and add certain value to the data. Okay, so example here. Oh, it is raining. So I think you remember about the fact and opinion during our logic class. Okay, so this is fact or opinion. Okay, it is basically the statement of event. Okay, when he said it is raining, it is just a statement of event without relation to other things. Right? But when you put it more precise, like the temperature dropped 15 degrees, then it started raining. Then you can see the cause and effect relation here. Okay. Now, if you said if the humidity is very high, then the temperature drops substantially. The atmosphere is often unlikely to be able to hold the moisture, so it rains. So this kind of explanation become knowledge. Okay? Why? Because there is certain predictability based on the cause and effect relation a while ago. Okay? Now, of course, when you put it into philosophy, you will say it rains because it rains. Yeah, Billy will say like that. So it encompasses the understanding of all interaction that happens between raining, evaporation, air current, temperature, and so on. Okay, so uh, there is a system fundamental principle embodied within the knowledge itself. This is just an example. Okay, we start from the data to go to information, to go to knowledge and to wisdom. So up to here, is there any question? Can you distinguish between data and information and
So
knowledge?
I want to ask for the information.
Yes.
The previous one, you said that it contains who, what, where, when, but why is it the information here? It's why.
No, it's just a connection. It's just a connection between cause and effect, but it's not really just why, right?
So
So
information can also explain why.
yes,
Okay, okay.
right. It's just a connection between it. So mostly we can say that information, the understanding will give you a better why than that information, that cause and effect here, right? The understanding here, you start to see not just the connection, okay? The temperature drop 15 degrees, then it start raining. So what is this? This is not why, right? This is just the cause and effect relation. It doesn't explain why the temperature dropped 15 degrees.
But it explains why it is raining, right?
No, it's if then statement. In its then if then statement, if the temperature drop 15 degrees, then it start raining, right? But it doesn't give you explanation why. Okay. Anyway, we can debate on uh, which part is which, but it's not really matter. Yeah? The most important here is you understand, okay, there is a difference between data, information, and knowledge and wisdom. So how do you distinguish that is you add certain uh, interrelated answer and connection. Okay, then you will start to see they become higher level uh, knowledge or information or wisdom. Okay, why we talk about this? Because we want to say about AI. Yeah? So this is the definition of artificial intelligence. Okay, by Winston. Winston is from MIT. AI is a study of computation that will make it possible to perceive, to reason, and to act. Okay, and Russell is one of my friends. So, branch of computer science concerned with making computer behave like human. Okay, so you can check the book of Russell and Norvig. Norvig is now in Google. Okay. So the term of AI is coined by John McCarthy, okay, from MIT in 1957 during the conference of AI at the time. Okay. So artificial intelligence now become a common trend. Okay. Everyone is talking about it, right? So basically the computer or the machine that is intelligent enough. So we can distinguish AI into two parts. Okay. One is called weak AI, which is the machine that mimic the cognitive function of human. Okay. So similar to human, it can learn, it can solve problems. And then the second part is called strong AI, or artificial general intelligence, so AGI. So this supposed to emulate the natural intelligence of human or animal. So by this point of time, okay, we can already created weak AI, but not yet strong AI. That means we can go back to this. We can create the knowledge from data. We can go to information. We can go to knowledge, but the AI cannot create wisdom yet. Can you see that? And these are the major AI areas. So genetic algorithm, including intelligent transportation system where I'm in. Okay, intelligent software agent, logic, fuzzy logic. Yeah. So these are the example of areas that are very active nowadays. Okay. And you can see a lot of commercial products now is using AI also, yeah? Artificial intelligence. So I hope any of you will create a project in this class about AI. I hope. Yeah. Last year, okay, your senior make one. So I was very amazed. Okay, using Python, they did in their group project or the project. Oh, they are not even group; they are individual. Okay, so now question is this: what AI can possibly do for us in agriculture or manufacturing, personal assistant, household work, or education? So I want each of you give some kind of discussion. What will be the AI can do, okay, in those kind of field? Who want to start? Who want to start? Kenneth.
For education, maybe the AI can collect the data from the internet and filter it to the how do I say, filter like data, not false information, and then give the education to the student from the data. Maybe.
Do you think that's AI enough?
No.
No. Okay. What do you think AI can do better than that? I mean that is normal program can do, right? So what make it AI?
Become the teacher.
Yes, AI can become the teacher. So that means one day my job will be disappear. That's true. Okay, right. So anyone else? Come on, Tamara. What's your opinion?
About AI.
Yes.
AI can help in like being a personal assistant, like
Oh,
Alexa or Siri.
okay. And what they do?
They can help you do small activities like setting reminders, alarms,
Okay. Right now,
and,
right?
and
But
yeah, and then ask about the weather.
yes, that's what the current state, right? How about the future state? Can you guess?
Maybe we can share opinion with the AI, like we tell our stories, and maybe the AI can give a solution. Maybe.
So the AI
Yeah,
can listen to you and give you
yeah,
some
the AI can listen
information.
to us and maybe give some solution.
Okay. And what kind of solution, Stephen?
Maybe if like, what, for example, like if we have like, maybe we have some problems with our body. For example, like, what, if we sick, we can ask for the medicine. What is the medicine of this, like that.
Oh, so
And the AI can give us, yeah, can give us. Oh, maybe you can take a rest for 5 minutes, or you can take this medicine, or something like that.
so the AI can
You
give you
should drink more water.
suggestions.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So Matthew, what do you think? Do you agree with that, or you have your own opinion?
I don't quite get it the last part.
Or Stephen, explain.
For example, if you're sick, you can ask the AI. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling this and that. And the AI can answer like, oh, maybe you should take a rest, or maybe you should take some water, like that, like a solution. Or you should take this. You should take Panadol, for example, like that. You
Okay.
should drink Panadol.
Oh,
You should
Stephen,
drink
are you
whatever.
going to make that in your project later for this
No,
class? Oh, why
no,
not?
no, no, no. I don't know. Maybe later, not now.
Felicia, you have some opinion? What AI can do for you?
About AI, I think about Gojek or Grab. Like nowadays, Gojek or Grab, you need a person to deliver our food or our
Mm-hmm.
package, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in the future, the AI can do it. Like we use robot, and nowadays also there's already self-driving car, right? Automatic
Correct.
car. We
Correct.
don't need to drive the car ourselves. So it is very possible if in the future the robot can deliver the package automatically to us. So we just, for example, buy something from Shopee or Tokopedia, and then the robot will be automatically send it to us.
Correct. Correct.
Like
So,
there is a robot. Yes.
correct. So in fact, I have a project together with Toyota in Japan. Okay, and give the vision of Toyota. So they said they are no longer a manufacturing company. So they are not creating car, okay, but they are mobility company. That means their competitor is no longer Nissan or Mercedes-Benz, but actually Google, Gojek. That's why they invest a lot, yeah, in Uber and Grab, including Gojek. So these are probably the future. So one day you will not own a car anymore because this mobility company, similar to Toyota, will be the one who own, and they will be the one who actually rent, or you will subscribe to them. So the model will be totally different. Yes?
May I go to the toilet?
Oh, sure, of course. You don't need to ask. Okay. So, Newfield, you want to tell something?
Maybe if we are a company, AI can help to run a machine and help find there's a problem in the machine.
Yes. So when you put the sensor in your machine, so and you put this sensor into the AI, okay, then you can start to see that the machine can learn. Okay. I have developed very simple AI. In fact, my research in IFN is about AI also. Okay, so let me show you something. This is okay. So this is the website of IFN. Let me share with you. Probably you can check. So go to the music. Go to the music. Not Tarin, everyone. I share with you in the chat. So you can try that. Okay. So let me share with you. Zoom. Here. I don't know if you can hear or not. So this is the demonstration of AI, yeah, based on my algorithm called Ideal Flow Network. So example here is the music that you can select. Okay, so I just select one, for example, Mozart. So can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes. So you can select any music. Okay. And when you select here in this sample of music, Mary of Little Lamb, you know this song. Okay. So, and it will create the song in here. So, okay. So then I can train the AI behind this. Okay. And then when the AI learn from this music that we put here, okay, and then it will generate new music. There. Okay. So every time, let me give another example of music in the Mozart, for example, is clear, right? Now, and then I generate again another music. Okay, so what you see is this is how the AI work. Okay, you give the data, right? You give the data. In this case, the data is the music, right? And then the AI will learn from that data, and then can do something based on that data. So in this case, generate new music. Okay. The same black box of AI that I can train with different different data. For example, I train that the same IFM, say with a story, say Indonesian story, okay, and then it will generate another story. If I train with a prayer, it will generate another prayer. The same black box. So if I train that to check the color of certain leaf or the name of certain leaf, for example, certain plants or animals, it will generate exactly the same as the data that we train. So you don't need to program it anymore. Once the algorithm is there, it's ready for any data that you put in. So what we learn in this class is programming. That means you are the one who control. You will be the one that control all the flow of the program, right? So that you can create something that the program will do according to your recipe. Right? That recipe is called algorithm. But nowadays, computer science is going to another direction. It's called AI. In AI, you don't do programming. What you do is to feed the program, okay, with data, so that the program will learn to program itself. And then it will generate the rule or the knowledge, the information for you. Can you distinguish the AI and the normal programming? What did you just cut? Tell me your opinion. So, Jocelyn, what do you think?
But the AI and programming,
Yes.
I think the programming is like we made the program, like we made something like the program, and AI like there's the program that established, and we just feed the program with data so they can run it automatically.
Yes, but you still need to know how to create the AI. In that case, you still need to know how to program, right? So AI is kind of advanced level that one day you will be the one who create. Okay, so and you are very lucky. Okay, the one who sit in this class are very lucky. Why? Because you get the knowledge how to program and get the knowledge also in later semester you will learn about AI also, right? Okay, one of the course. So in that case, you get both sides. Okay, meaning that you can create the AI, not just use the AI. Okay. Billy, is there any opinion what AI can do for you?
In manufacturing process,
Yeah.
like filtering the unqualified product, like orange and rotten orange, so that I can scan and filter, separate the rotten ones.
Okay, very good. Okay. Darin, do you want to say something? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
So, what do you think the job that will lost to AI? And what
Photography,
we can do
maybe.
about it? Hmm?
Photography.
Why? Why photography will lost to AI?
Like we even don't need a professional photographer to take a good quality picture. Even now, the camera also have the AI.
And then, so you don't need a professional photographer anymore. So do you feel threatened with the AI or not? Anyone? Give your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why, Billy?
Because I will occupy a lot of jobs, and we will have less chance to get a job because AI will do it for us.
What AI can do and what AI cannot do?
Uh, Maybe for me, AI doesn't have the kind of feeling or maybe the sense. For example, like Darren said, photographers can be done by AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe the AI can take a photo, but for example, like art, it needs it needs some sense and feeling so that we can take a good photos.
Mm-hmm.
And AI doesn't have the feeling that
Okay.
human have. And
Okay.
art is mostly about feelings and about taste.
Okay. And
And AI doesn't have it. So that's the,
AI
the point of human
cannot.
rather than AI.
So I
AI
don't.
only can take pictures like there is the seperti ada formatnya
Okay.
without feelings, like only based on calculation,
Okay.
but they don't have the kind of feelings and
So
sense.
okay, if they don't have feelings, so what's the impact? What's the implication?
Uh, the result is will be different. For example, if AI playing piano,
Okay.
uh, maybe the AI can play pretty well,
Okay.
but the music, like there is no soul at the music. Like there is no soul
So
because
what
the
is
AI
soul?
cannot give soul to the music like that.
So what is soul?
Like it's hard to explain, but there is the difference between human and AI that AI cannot do for me
Uh,
because AI only good at calculations, but they don't have the soul, the feelings.
yes, that is the most common people will say, right? But nowadays, you know, you can ask the human, okay, who has soul, as your definition of soul, right, to give evaluation of that music, and then AI can learn from that human evaluation, and eventually the AI itself will have soul, as your definition, right? So basically, the AI can learn from human, not just from the computation. Okay, why? Because it's human who create the evaluation. Okay, so it's human who create the critics. It's not just sensor, okay, but also human who interact with the AI, and the AI can learn from the human. Okay, when you said the human have soul and AI no soul, then eventually, okay, that soul will be transferred to the AI. Okay. Okay. So in that case, the one that you said is no longer true. Okay. So when I was a few years ago, so I think 2017, so uh, the national, the UST, Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines, so invited me, one of the expert in AI, to give a talk and teaching to many teachers in the Philippines. Why? Because uh, the job threat that happening there. Okay? So the industry that is very big threat there is actually BPO. Yeah? That is the call center. So many Filipino become a call center agent. Okay? And the assistant of AI that can replace human, okay, as human call center agent, that is actually a very big threat for them. So probably during our time in AI, you will learn how to create a chatbot and others. Yeah? So for this course, we will learn only programming. Okay? So at least that is the curriculum in this course. So here are the certain job. Okay, this is, you can check the list here. This is a little bit old, but yeah, 3 years ago. So million of workers in retail salesperson will be lost. Actually, a lot of supermarket in the US nowadays does not need a retail salesperson. So all is done by robot. Okay. So in fact, cashier is no longer needed. Fast food and counter worker is also no longer needed. You can see in Beijing Olympic, for example, they are served by robot already, right? So these are the list of a job that actually from the most to the least, okay, that will lose because of assistance of AI. Bus driver, truck driver is there, but not that much compared to the cleaning service, for example. Okay, so teacher is also one that will be replaced. Okay. So the one that cannot be replaced is probably researcher. Don't think that artists cannot be replaced. Okay? That is something that very easy to be replaced actually. Okay. Nowadays, art can be generated based on AI. Those arguments that human is more creative than AI is no longer true. Okay. So, my question to you, what will be the potential impact of AI to replace human worker? So, and why? Why is that so? Okay. Why that happening? What is the potential impact of AI to replace human worker? Does business have more focus to reduce the cost or more enthusiastic about new opportunity? So what do you think? Give me your opinion, just opinion, very easy.
It depends, sir. Like, for example, if we replace the AI for like a not quite a big of a job, it will not, the cost will be very high because for us to train the AI, we require more data and for us to build that, it could took days, but for like a big company, like maybe like Google or something that's already big, we can use AI for further investment. It will be very good.
Okay, so the scale matter, you mean? The scale of the company matter.
Yes, and the scale of the AI jobs that are been that the AI work.
Okay, so anyone want to give other opinion?
Maybe from my opinion is like if we work at the factory, and then there is a dangerous work there.
Mm-hmm.
If we change to the robot and the other stuff that AI works, it
Mm-hmm.
can less like accidental to the worker.
Correct. Correct. But the worker price is also increasing, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? So minimum salary nowadays is how much? Around $300, is that correct?
Uh,
Minimum wage, 4 million. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
4 million, right? So
hmm.
200 something, 200, more than $250 a month, right? So now if you have an AI, okay, that costs you only $50 a month, no complaint, working 24/7, will not protest, will not demonstrate, do the same job. So what do you think?
I think a lot of company will choose AI
Right.
instead of workers, but like depends on do they think about the impact to the workers that get replaced. But if it's about profit, uh, and they don't think about the cost that will be that the workers will get, they will definitely choose AI to reduce the cost.
Okay. So if it is a company, do they care about whether the worker need to be replaced or not?
Uh, maybe there are some.
I mean, it's supposed to be the job of the government, isn't it? For that social issue,
Yes,
right? It's
yes.
not the company issue, right? So that's why many people suggesting a new way that people will earn what is called universal basic salary from the government. That means everyone will get a minimum salary even if they are not working. That's the meaning of universal basic salary. So, but we are not sure that will be used or not. So, at the same time, if we want to think about it, when you work in the factory, for example, something that machine can do, is that job is actually for human or actually for machine?
What job?
The job that repeat itself,
Machine.
right? That job that repeat itself is actually the job of the machine, but we give it to human because our technology does not have capability to it yet, right? But once now the AI take place and the technology is already there, now we start to think differently, right? This is actually not the job of human. This is boring for human itself. Correct. Right? So one day you will think that those jobs that actually lost is actually inhuman to do that kind of job, isn't it? I mean, there is a shift in the mindset, right? What is job for human? Because that job is so boring and so dangerous, right? Repetition, inefficient, right? So then they start to think that this is actually inhuman to employ human to do this kind of job. But we are still going to give it to human at this point because our technology is not yet mature. Billy, what do you think? You keep smiling.
Uh, I hope the government has the solution if AI really replace lot of jobs.
So what is your solution?
I give monthly salary for everyone, like you said.
Okay, so where the money come from?
I don't know. And maybe create jobs. I don't know, other jobs for people, other new jobs.
Yes, so what I think the best solution will be to increase the capability of human itself, you know, to match with the trend, with the actual job that there are many jobs that are removed because of AI, but there are many jobs that are also created because of AI, you know. So then the question is how stubborn the human to learn new things, to forget the old things, right? This is how the education system need to transform, to change to the new things rather than keep stubborn in the old things. Don't you think so? Right? So when we keep saying that this is what the way to do in the 100 years ago, and we keep doing it, but the technology changed and we don't want to change. So something is wrong with us. And then we blame it on the social issue, which actually because we don't want to learn something new. So, well, all of this will still be a debate for next decade, I believe, right? But at the same time, this will be your problem, your generation problem. So the question is, can machine actually replace human? Okay, so one machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men, but no machine can do the work of one extraordinary man. That means actually no, human cannot be replaced by machine if human can catch up, you know, right? So nowadays a lot of protests starting to take place that they don't like robot, they don't like human, artificial intelligence, and so on. So, and there are also discussion that probably robot will be the evolution, the next evolution of human. We don't know. That means there are a lot of prediction that one day you will be replaced, part of at least part of your body. Yeah, at least part of your body with AI or certain part of AI. Okay, so up to here, is there any question, discussion, comments, critics?
Sir, I want to ask, what does it mean about the AI learns to learn? Is it like a reinforcement learning, or we haven't achieved that?
So there are many definition of learning, right? So when we said AI learn, is basically, if I want to simplify things, it's basically calibrate the parameter. Okay, so very good question, Matthew. So I will share you a screen so that this is to answer Matthew. Yeah? This is not in the exam. Okay, so basically AI is just a function of X, and you get the output Y. So this is the output, right? And the X is the input. Okay. Now, any function usually will have certain parameter, right? So let's call that parameter with different color. So I will call this alpha. Okay. So when you say training, AI learning is basically to change this parameter alpha. Okay, so let me give example. Say you have a point. This is your data. Okay, say you have 5 data points. Okay, this is your X, this is your Y, right? And then say I have this function. Okay, what is this function? Y equal mx plus c. You learned this in high school, right? So this is your m, this is 1, and this point is the c, the intercept, right? So in this case, what is the input? The input is x. What is the output? The output is y. And what is alpha in here? So alpha here is a vector of m, c. Okay. So when we said learning, training, that means you have the data, this data that you give to the function, to the trainer. Okay. And then the program, the AI program will learn. That means will change the value of this parameter alpha. Okay. So now, for example, this become 30. This will become 16.5. For example. So once you have this, then now you have a new input, right? X. You can get the output. So that kind of things is called prediction. Okay, so the AI can predict. Why? Because you give the input, it can predict the output. And then now you said, okay, how to generate based on AI, like the music I show you a while ago. You give the output. Okay, you give the output. The AI can produce back the input. Right, the input is music, right? You give the output. What is the output? Oh, I want to get this output of certain music that I want. Then the AI can generate that music. How the AI generate? Because the function is already given, because the alpha, okay, the parameter inside is already trained. Do I answer your question, Matthew? So
Yes, sir.
yes, so this kind of training, this is called supervised learning. Okay, so when you said unsupervised learning, you get the input and then we'll get the data based on that input and then we'll create a label for you. When you said reinforcement learning, is basically you get the input repeatedly many times. Okay, so I have a tutorial there in Repollet to call reinforcement learning or Q learning. You can check on it. Yeah, so you get the input of repeatedly, say a game. Okay, so you let the AI to play the games repeatedly many times. Okay, maybe 10,000 times. Okay, and that is the goal. That is a goal to win the game, right? And then the AI will learn through trial and error. Okay, and over time it become better and better. That is called reinforcement learning. So there are many ways to train the AI.
Sir, the reinforcement learning, is it the AI learn to learn, or we just give the AI like a punishment when he did a mistake? Is it the same with the AI learn to learn?
The AI learn to learn is basically it's like me. I'm creating code to code. Right? So say you create a code that can code. So when you said the AI learn to learn, that means you give already the way that AI can learn, can take the data, and then can calibrate by itself. Right? And you automate that system, you automate that process, so it become learn to learn.
We are still far from that, sir.
No, it's already there.
Oh, it's already.
Yes.
So in order for the AI learn to learn, the AI need to be able to collect the data and to analyze the data and learn from the data.
yes, the most important part there that you did not mention is the evaluation. Okay, for the AI to learn, they need to have an evaluation criteria that we set. We, human, is the decision maker. Okay, that is our role. When the AI era is globally coming to you, okay, the role of human being is actually to create decision. Okay,
Sir,
evaluate, yes.
so AI can error or not?
AI can what?
Error.
Can
You
make
say,
error? Of course,
yeah.
can.
Mm.
AI can make a lot of error, not just little error. In fact, the way that we use training nowadays, okay, that allow AI to create error. That's why we can make the AI better. So error is no longer human. In the old days, okay, when programming is the king, not AI is the king, right? Programming is the king. So program cannot make error. Okay. In our course today, in our course in this programming lesson, right? In Python, program cannot make error. But in the era of AI, yes, AI can make error. It's allowed to make error. That's totally different perspective, totally different mindset. But we decide what is allowable error. Okay, so we decide, for example, okay, I allow you to have 5% error, or I allow you to have only 1% error, or I allow you to have only 1/1,000,000 error. That's we as human who decide. Based on
So sir,
yes, yes.
if the error that the AI make and then it impact very big to the human being, what will be the
So who
solution?
decide that error? My question to you.
Hmm.
Who
Yeah,
decide that error? Human or AI itself?
if the AI, if the
AI
AI
cannot
make
take decision
hmm,
that will create that impact. It is human who create that decision. So it is human who should responsible for that decision. So you create the AI, right? So you
hmm,
set the parameter inside the AI, right?
yes.
Then you are the one who decide for that parameter to happen. Then you're responsible for that, right? So the same thing. Now you nowadays the battle is actually between user and the developer. You know, like the car manufacturing nowadays. Okay, uh, there is technology called automatic driving car, right? The battle is actually who responsible if that error happen, right? So someone will say no. Google make that driving automatic driving car, then Google should responsible. Google said no, the user who buy that car should responsible. So that is the current battle, isn't it? Because who make the decision anyway? So the one who make decision should be the one who responsible. Yeah. You have authority, that means you have responsibility. You cannot just have authority without responsibility. In the same time, you cannot have responsibility without authority. Yeah. You're supposed to balance the right and duty. Correct. Yeah. So any other comment, question?
Sir, I have a
Go.
question. If I have a company and use AI, does
Mhm.
AI need maintenance?
Yes, depends on what AI and what kind of AI that you use, and in most cases, yes. Why? The question is because you need to update the AI, right? You need to update the data that train the AI. In the short term, probably you don't need. Say you want to use this and then let AI do short term, 1 year, 2 years, okay. But after 2 years, probably you need maintenance because you see there are things change that the AI need to learn new things also. So similar to human, AI also need to learn new things. Wow.
Sir, if we implement the AI that can collect the data by itself, that it still need maintenance. So the one that updated the data is not human, but the AI itself.
Yes. So the simplest way to collect the data is Spider. You search in Google, Spider. Spider web crawler. Oh, there, you type like that. Okay, or you can type Python so that you can get all the codes. Okay, or you can type yeah, Spider web crawler. Spacey, for example, you can use that. So then you can collect data automatically already. Okay. But again, what level is this? This is still in the level of data. Okay, this is no longer AI yet. So come back to our discussion earlier. That will be in that raw data that you can collect. This is not information yet, not knowledge yet, not even wisdom. Okay, you see that? So the one that you collect is actually still raw data. Then it's your job to present it as information or present it as knowledge. So based on this, you can start to think about what is your project for this class. I hope. So you can also type scraper, for example. So web scraper. Okay, so in Python, there is a beautiful soap you can easily use. So there are many modules that you can use for this purpose. So if you want to build chatbot, there are many chatbot also in GitHub that you can use. Any other discussion? Stephen, you probably want to develop chatbot because you mentioned about it earlier.
Sir, I want to ask, sir.
Oh, Felicia. Yeah.
But maybe it's a little bit random, sir.
Go.
Is that possible in the future? The application of, is that possible in the future? There are an AI that can code automatically what we want. Like, for example, I'm not a programmer and I don't understand any programming language. So is that possible in the future that AI can do programming or write automatic code based on what we want to do? Like for example, I want a software that can list my annual transaction like that. And then I talk to the AI and then the AI provide me the software that I want.
Yes.
Is that possible?
It is possible. And you can actually create it now if you want. No need in the future. Okay. Several years ago, I started to develop what I call as code to code in Python. Okay. During my project with Toyota last time, okay, there are big data, and each have different type of code that I need to make. So eventually, I create a code to code. That means the code will create a code. How do you do that? Your question probably, right? You can do it. How? Code is basically string. It's a text, correct? And this code is, in fact, a standard text. Okay, everything that you can standardize, okay, you can put it into a program. So you can distinguish the data type, for example, okay, into 4 categories, 5 categories, okay? And then you give the data that this is the type and this is the whole data, and then you ask the program, you can create the code to code, because with that it will automatically, if that data exists, then what the code should do, it will create a new code based on that type of data that you give. Possible? Right? So there is a function called eval in Python that, given the string of the code, it will automatically create the program for you. But you create that string. I have one tutorial. Probably we will discuss about it one time. I forget where did I put it. Python. Oh, here, Python. This is an example, very simple example of that code to code. Is located here in this Premagic game. I will share with you in the chat. You can see in this in the chat. I showed in the chat. So if you look at it, you can see the code that actually creating a code. Okay. All you need to do is just copy and paste. So this is an example. I will share screen. See, this is a code that will generate the GUI based on just number of board that you want. So it will generate a string in here. It will generate S in here is a string, right? And then it will just add the strings so that basically it returns the strings. Okay, so when you run this using eval, okay, it will create a code. So this is a code. See, this is an actual code, but you create a code to code. This is just a very simple example. So as long as you can standardize your things, okay, then you can code, and then you let the program to code by itself. This is not even AI, right?
Sir,
Yes.
I have one concern here. Like, if we want to change all the worker to the robots and everything, like we need to have like more metal and everything, but the resource of the world is limit. Like the much of like the metal is not equal. Like if we use all the material that like the metal, and then someday maybe we will have like issues in the metal, right?
Yeah, that happened probably, I just guess, because you implement intelligent system partially, not fully,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
right? So you said, okay, I will implement this intelligent system in certain part of the company, but the other part is not there, not intelligent yet, right?
Yes.
So then that become issue. It's a hybrid system. That become issue. Okay. So the same with the automatic driving car, for example. The actual issue is when some cars are still manual and some cars are automatic. That become big issue. Okay. But if all cars are automatic, there is no issue. Right. The
Okay.
same thing like what you are saying. So I have a metal, for example, okay, or certain material, and suddenly not enough. Why this is not enough? Because there is no sensing device to check whether this is enough or not. There is no optimization that to check that this is enough or not. So the automation itself is partially done. That's why this issue happened. But when you put it totally automatic, there is no such issue. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. So then if you know that happened, you should be ready because you are the one who decide, okay, to implement only partial. Then the one that is impartial, the one that is actually the other side that need human to do, of course, you need to be ready. Okay. Do I answer your question, Danny?
Well, sir.
Do I answer your question, Darin?
Yes, yes. You answer my question. Thank you.
Is there any other things you want to discuss about these AI things and your projects? When is your first project meeting? Is it next week? Oh, still April. April 11, right? For your group project, you need to submit not only the proposal, but you also need to submit the UML diagram and already have a Python code. Okay. So is it done? Okay. The AI, let's go to the next topic.
Sir, can I ask one more thing?
Okay, go.
What's the AI that the previous batch built?
What is what?
The project for computer science, you say there's someone that built
Ah,
AI.
they created a chatbot that can talk.
Chatbot that can talk.
Yes, and you can ask Joy and Livy.
Oh, the Alexa helps.
Yes, they use Alexa.
Did they also make the AI collect the data itself or not, sir?
Not yet. This is just programming lesson. So
Oh,
in
okay,
the
sir.
AI lesson itself, yes, you supposed to create that data. Okay, this is like the first stage. Look, the students here basically don't know how to program at all, right? That's the assumption. Okay. Those who know how to program already have certain advantage at this course. But in the AI course itself, you're supposed to know how to program already. That's different level. Okay, so in this course, it's like introduction to programming. So I assume you don't know how to program. Okay. So to reach that level is already good enough. Okay, so but at the same time, when you are in the next semester, which is the AI course itself, of course, the AI is supposed to collect the data on itself, or at least you create that data. Okay, that's different level. Okay, good. So, any other concern? Joyce, Tamara, very quiet today.
Sir, I want to ask, sir.
Ah,
Is it possible that can AI develop 100% renewable energy?
renewable energy. That's very excellent question. I don't know.
Oh, because I heard about AI making fusion energy, right? So
Fusion energy.
yeah, but I don't know about anything more about that. But then, is it possible that in the future that we might rely on AI to create energy?
I don't know. I cannot answer that. Sorry. Okay. So, what I know is the fusion itself. So there are several of my friends in Europe. They are involved in fission and fusion energy in France, for example, and UK. They developed the fusion. So basically, this is to create from several atoms to so hydrogen of two proton and three proton together, okay, to create the normal hydrogen or helium. So this is like the effect in the sun, right? So the role of AI in this case is just to control, okay, the amount of energy that the fission does, right? So I don't think the AI itself will create the energy. The role of AI is just to control, like Billy said a while ago, to filter, to control. So the role of AI is like human, that is to decide, to make control, to predict. Okay, but AI can generate things like virtual things, but I don't think AI can generate energy on itself. Okay. So the energy is material. In that case, they need to link with a certain material like the atoms. Okay. Say AI can use to optimize the control of solar cell, for example. Right. So that instead of efficiency only 30% can increase to 50% or 70%, for example. That's a lot of energy that we can save. But at the same time, I don't think AI can create energy. But I don't know. I said I don't know. Probably in the future, right? So,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? So if not, we will start the next lesson. Is about programming, right? So you can go to this website. So this is our next lesson. So if you already install Anaconda, you can open your Jupyter. Okay. If you don't have Anaconda, you can use Google Colab. Okay. And then your task is to learn about Python. Okay. Let's do that.
So can we use Python?
Oh, no?
Can we use Python?
Python. What is that?
Spider.
Spider. Oh, yeah, yes, of course. You can use Spider. You can use Spider on the right side. Okay, so I will share my screen, the whole screen. Okay, so I open Jupyter here. Okay, if you like Spider, you can use Spider. Where is this? Learning Python. So this is the website, right? So let's start. So this is for absolute beginners in Python. Okay, I assume you don't know how to use Python, but you know how to open the computer. You know how to open the Spider or Jupyter, right? You already installed Python. Okay, so what you will do is go here and new Python 3, right? And then copy and paste and enter. So what is this? This is talking about that Python can run as calculator, right? So the basic is to use Python as calculator rather than as programming. Last time we already learned this. So to use the input, okay, the mesh is input a number. So I will put here, copy and paste, input a number. It will ask, okay, for example, 45. It will produce 45 as a string. Okay, but if you want to reuse, this is the most important principle in computer science, is the principle of reuse. Okay? If you want to reuse this, then you need to put as a variable. Say, for example, I will put var1. This is my variable. Oh, okay. Variable 1. Okay. Then I will say var1. Again, I will reuse that value, 35. Okay. It will not give you anything. It will not give you any output, but you can output it var1 plus 5. So you can reuse it. Oh, why is this error?
Wait.
Okay.
Because there is
String, yeah.
yes.
Because if you look at var1 itself, okay, it's actually a string. Okay, so in Python there are several data types. Okay, if you put quote or double quote, yeah, that becomes a string. String is basically text, right? So when you 5 is number, so when you put plus 5 is become error, right? So why error? Because it can concatenate string, not integer to string. Right? So if you want to add as another string, so you put quote in the 5. Okay. Earlier the var1 value is 35. Right? So then you add 5 again in at the end will become 355. But again, this is under quote, because that means string, right? So if you want to make this var1 into numbers, how do you do that? Okay, so there are two types of numbers. Okay. Yeah, one is called integer, the other one is called float. Can you see? Okay. And actually there are only 5 primitive data type: integer, float, string, boolean, and complex. So Python can do complex number. Yeah. What is complex number? With real and imaginary. Okay. So integer is basically any whole number, either positive or negative. Floating number is any decimal number, without representing the separation between whole and decimal part. String is basically text. Okay, either single quote or double quote. And Boolean is either true or false. Yeah? Usually we use Boolean for comparison. Okay? And if you use engineering, usually you deal with complex numbers. Okay, that's the primitive data type in Python. So if you have input, of course, you can also have output. You also learned this last meeting, right? So you print what is your name. So name is input, then you print your name is name. So by putting that input into a variable, then you can reuse. Okay, so you put here, copy and paste. Oh, what is your name? My name is Elmo. Well, your name is Elmo. Okay, so it become print. So you don't like your name? Yeah, I can put hello. Okay. So again, what is your name? My name is Elmo. And then it says, hello, Elmo. So with this, you can actually create a chatbot. Why? Because you can put the data inside, and then when given the name, you can directly tell the computer to produce hello Elmo. Right. So you want to share your screen if you have any problem. This is too easy. Copy and paste, okay? Darin, I want to see your screen. And Stephen.
Wait, sir. Actually, Stephen already left. Like maybe he
Already leave. He
that
did not
connection.
take a quiz, so and you also need
Yeah.
to take the quiz again. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Ah, who want to share screen? Okay, Darin. Okay, that is still in calculator. Oh, how about the input and output?
I need to check on your it.
Okay, you need to finish the whole page.
Okay, okay.
Okay. You feel,
Yes, sir.
Lily, Kenneth, you want to share your screen? Oh, working.
Working, sir.
Working, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Programming is easy, right?
Yes.
Just copy
And
and paste and run,
yeah.
okay?
Copy, paste, and run.
I told you programming is easy, just copy and paste and run, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
If error, you can search in Google.
correct. You search in Google and then get the Stack Overflow, okay? You get the answer, copy and paste and run, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, who said programming is hard? No, right?
Oh, sir, I cannot do the name part.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah. Okay. Why it doesn't ask me my name?
oh, why? Why doesn't? This is copy and paste and run.
Yes.
And why? Why doesn't?
This might. Eh,
Why? Copy and paste. Come on.
Copy,
Copy and paste
paste, run.
and run. Oh,
Why it becomes like this?
oh, why? So you check the kernel. Why is your kernel still on? Or you restart the
This
kernel? You try to restart the kernel. Can you restart the kernel?
Yes, I have restarted.
You have restarted, and then copy and paste, copy, paste as plain text. Oh, right. And then run it. How do you run?
I press this.
What do you press? Okay, you press that
Yes.
one. And is it not working?
Yes.
But okay, you try 1, 2, 3, 1 plus 2 plus 3. Is it working or not?
No.
No. So it's your program that is not working.
Wait, maybe I should.
New.
No, Python 3.
Are you using Anaconda or something else?
No.
Sayur yang nanti bawa itu kangkung ternyata, Sam.
Oh, why can't I open it?
Okay. If you cannot use this, you can use Google Colab or you can use Spider. I think
Yes.
there's something wrong with your program.
I will try it.
Okay. There's something wrong with your program. Okay. So who else have problem? So Kenneth, do you want to show? Okay, run. Enter. Oh, it's working. Okay, very good. No problem, right? Just copy and paste. You feel no problem. Darin still have problem. Who else? Tamara, Felicia, Jocelyn. Is there any problem?
No,
Also,
sir.
No. Okay, so only Billy and Karin.
Actually, I choose the wrong widget in the collab. I plus the text, so it didn't work. Wait.
If possible, you don't use mobile phone, but use laptop or computer. That's better. Billy, what is your installation? What software do you use?
Jupyter.
Jupyter from where?
Anaconda.
From Anaconda.
Yes.
Is it working already or?
I tried, and then the 1, 2, 3 input number, it's working, but the name for the name one, it didn't work.
The name is not working. Okay, so if not working, can you just print only? Is it working or not? The first line, is it working or not?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, and then the second line. You copy and paste the second line. Is it working?
Yes.
Oh, it worked. Okay. And then the third line you need to make it. So if you cannot make it work, maybe you need to copy one by one per
Okay.
line. That's strange. That's not supposed to happen. Anyway, so you know already that. Yes, you have a question?
It's already working at mine.
Okay, it's already working. Yeah, input, input, output. Okay, that's very basic. It's supposed to work. Okay. Okay, so I already explained the 5 primitive data type, right? So aside from the primitive data type, Python also have 4 collection of the primitive data type. Okay, so they are called list, tuple, dictionary, and set. What are the difference? Okay, so list, okay, list something that array that you can change. Okay, tuple is array that you cannot change. Okay, dictionary is a kind of array that you can change and it has label. Something like here. This is the list, tuple, dictionary, and set. Okay, this is a list, right? This and next, this is the next one is tuple. The difference, can you see? Just the bracket is different. Okay, so if it is tuple, you cannot change. You can define, okay, you can add, but you cannot change. Next is dictionary. So it's a key and value pair. Okay, so fruit is apple, color is red, taste is sweet, for example. So then you will ask, what is the color? You can change into red into green. Okay, so the last one is set, right? What is set? Set is an order collection with no duplicate items. Okay, so if using this curly bracket, that's how you distinguish between set, list, tuple. Okay, list, tuple, dictionary, and set. Okay, so now here is the example of primitive data type. Okay, if I put hash in here, that means comment. Okay, so everything after the hash is a comment. It will not be executed. So if I put 1, 2, 3, what will be the result? It's a tuple. Okay, so you can also put not just integer but also floating number. This is what makes the difference between Python and many other programming languages. Okay, for example, in C, you cannot do this. In MATLAB, for example, you cannot do this. You cannot do mix between string and float and integer, but in Python you can. Okay, so this is example of strings, right? Remember? Okay, let me put this copy and paste, right? You like copy and paste, I will put it here. There, I will have a tuple of string. But I can also change that this is no longer string. Okay, this is no longer string. I can put this as integer and floating number and string together. No problem. Okay. In Python, this is no problem. But in many other programming languages, this is not allowed. Next is Boolean. Boolean will produce true and false. You see, true become true, false become false. If not, if they are equal or not. If they are not equal, false. Okay. If they are equal, true. So equality, for comparison, you use double. equal in Python. Okay. And this is complex number. I'm not sure if you use this, but anyway, it's available. Okay, so you can use complex with string. Now you can see complex of 1 plus 2j plus complex of 3 plus 5j is actually 1 plus 3 is 4, right? 2 plus 5 becomes 7j. Oh, up to here, is there any question? Data type, primitive data type, list, set. Is there any question? No question at all? Clear? Very clear, right? Very good. Okay, now let's do what is called assignment. Okay, so assignment is to store the value of your data type, your data into a variable. Okay. Storage. Okay. When you set a equal 2, that means you store the value 2 inside a. And then when you set b equal 3 plus a, that a is 2 there, will be replacing this value. Okay. Now b become, what is the value of b in here?
5.
5. Okay. How about this? C equal b minus a. What is c in this case?
Three.
Oh, b is 5, a is 2, right?
Yeah.
Then c is 3. Okay, because 5 minus 2 is 3. Clear or not clear? So, you can assign one by one like this. This is exactly the same as any programming language. Okay? But the one that is different in Python is this. Okay? In Python, you can assign multiple values at once. So, for example, here, okay, a, comma b, comma c equal 1, 2, 3. So, let me copy and paste. Right? So what is A? Now I can change the order. C, B. What will be the result? What will be the result? A, C, B. What will be the result? Anyone knows? Before I press this, anyone knows?
1, 3, 2.
1, 3, 2. Okay, very good. There. Easy. Or too easy for you. Yeah. In fact, it is, right? So you can assign that value into another variable, t. Okay. And you can also assign all variable to the same value. For example, a equal b equal c equal 0. This is to initialize, usually. Right? That means A, B, and C are all 0. Okay. In Python, you can swap the two values. Something like this. A, B equal B, A. Okay, let's print this. Okay, so A is 3, B is 5. Now when you swap, it will produce 5, 3 instead of 3, 5. Okay, so this is basically the swap. Okay, exchange position. In other programming language, you cannot do this. Okay, in other programming language, you need to create a temporary variable. Say in C, for example, in Java, you cannot do this. only in Python. Now, if you want to convert from one value into another type of value, okay, another data type, you can use this function. Okay, for example, str, it will convert everything into string. For example, str3, it will become string of 3. String is text. Okay, so int is integer, so it will truncate. So you input string, when you set float, it will create a floating number, decimal number. Okay. Boolean of any number rather than 0 will become true. Okay. So complex you can put as integer, float, or string. And these are the operator that you can check. Okay, this is plus, minus, multiply, divide. This is remainder of division. Okay, double, slash represent integer division. So absolute is absolute value using function. Negate of the x is negative. Okay, if you put positive, it will not change. Power, you can use this. Double multiply is power, or you can use function POW. Okay, or you can use module mathematics. Yeah? So this is the square root, floor, ceiling, truncate, rounding value. Okay, this is the pair of integer division and the remainder. And this is to convert to integer, this is to convert to floating number, this is to create a complex number, and this is to create a complex conjugate. So all you need to do is to copy and paste this, right? There. And then you check one by one. The first line here is import math. What does it mean? It means it will import a module named mathematics, yeah, math. So this is a mathematics module is inside standard library of Python. That means when you install Python, it's already included. Okay. Standard library means it's already included within Python. Say you have two numbers, you assign here, x and y. Okay, you see the semicolon here to represent I want to go to the next line. And I will print, what is this? I will set the string, yeah, of x plus the string of y equal to that value. So this is just basically all the operation of this table earlier. Okay, stable. So the rest is already there. So any question about this function and operator? Anything not familiar with you or? Okay, test. If this is okay, this is a test. Okay. Give me 2 exponent 75. Give me 2 exponent 75. Oh, anyone who can show first will claim the recitation point. 2 exponent 75. Two exponent 75. How do you get that?
Sir, 2 exponent 75.
Yes. 2 exponent 75. Does it work in Python? 2 exponent 75.
Exponent is to the power, right?
I don't know. You
Oh.
need to tell me.
I already, sir.
Okay, go, Felicia.
I don't know. Oh, I cannot
You
share
cannot share
screen.
screen. Oh, sorry. I will.
Oh, wait. I have to use, I just use simple code, sir.
No problem. Okay.
I'm just this. Print to,
Yeah. Okay.
and then the result is this.
The result is down there. Right. Very good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. Very good, Felicia. Billy, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Of course. Right. Ah. Okay. This is not. This is not assignment, or you want to get an assignment? Okay, I will give you assignment now. In my tutorial, I have what is called digital root. Okay, but I created in VB, Visual Basic. Okay, can you make it in Python?
Mr. Kardi,
Okay.
I ask permission to leave here because I have.
Yeah. Okay, I will just show you this one. Okay. This is the formula. Either you use this formula or you use this formula, the mathematics. Okay. So I created this in Visual Basic. So can you make it in Python? Okay. So this is your assignment, okay? You submit it. So you create def function of digital root. And then the input is any number, okay? Any integer number. And then the output is the digital root, okay, in Python. Okay, you can leave. So see you next week. Then.
Okay, see you, Mr. Karti. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Kardi.
sir.
Thank you.
Next week.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.